It's Thursday, November 14th, 2024, and we've got some weather systems to talk about. A lot of us are dealing with some rain and cooler weather this morning because of this massive system that's moving through right now. If you haven't gotten in on it yet, up there in the Northeast, the rain is coming. Some welcomed rain right now to some places that are experiencing a drought, but behind that, big time dry weather to take over once again, but for a brief period of time. We've got some really interesting stuff to talk about here as another tropical system has our attention as well. Tropical Depression 19 down here is getting ready to cause some problems in Central America over towards the Yucatan Peninsula and maybe Florida in the future. So let's talk more about that right now. Here's the official forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center. Right now, Tropical Depression 19, soon to be Tropical Storm Sara. Probably by the time I posted this video, it'll be Tropical Storm Sara. It is packing 35-mile-per-hour winds and it's moving west at 14 miles per hour. It's essentially going to stall out over here near Honduras and then maybe make another landfall near Belize as we go towards Monday. And then it is going to cross Mexico back out into the Gulf of Mexico. And then what it does from there is still up in the air. There's a lot of people talking about this. There's people already hyping up a Florida Category 4. I don't know what's going to happen as far as the impact for Florida goes, but once it does make it back out here into the Gulf of Mexico, all signs do point towards it moving back to the north and east. Okay, so that's why we are telling people in Florida to monitor this. But right now, this is not causing a problem for anybody in the United States. This is a big problem, though, for people down here in Central America, especially down here near Honduras, where we expect to see life-threatening flash flooding over the next little bit as that tropical system is essentially going to stall right over this part of Central America before going up towards Belize. So if you've got interest down there, make sure they know that this is not going to be a bad storm in terms of wind per se, but really bad storm in terms of rainfall. It's going to cause some big time flash flooding down there. All right, but what's next? Okay, after this thing gets back out here in the Gulf, we do expect it to go back up to the north and east. Now, some models a couple of days ago, and this is where I think a lot of the hype started to gather around this storm, some models were saying that it wasn't going to flirt with Honduras for so long, and it also wasn't going to kind of cross the Yucatan Peninsula so much, like it was just going to kind of graze it before coming back up towards Florida. And in that situation, which is still something that could potentially happen, that's where we've got to be more concerned in Florida, because if that were to happen, there would be less weakening. It would only strengthen. Maybe it would weaken a little bit right here, and then it would continue to strengthen on its approach to Florida. You know, obviously that would be cause for concern, but the trend right now is every new update that comes in, it looks like it's actually going to interact with land more in Central America before making it out into the Gulf, so it doesn't look like it's going to be as much of a big deal. That's what we're hoping for right now. I do think that the biggest impacts are going to happen down here in Central America, but of course, next week, whenever this is back out in the Gulf, we are going to have to be watching this like a hawk to see what happens with it as it makes its second or third approach to landfall here, potentially along the Gulf Coast of Florida. Let's take a look at what the European models got going on here for our storm, and you can see it really handles that stalling of the storm very well down there near Honduras. We've got Saturday, November 16th at 4 a.m. here. It's still just hovering in the same spot, dumping a ton of rain down there, but eventually it's going to get magnetized. All right, that's what I like to say. It's going to get drawn towards this big trough. Every time a big trough comes in, the hurricanes, the tropical systems, they love them. They want to catch a ride. Okay, the goal of hurricanes essentially is to take warmth and energy from the equator and transfer it up towards the poles. Okay, if you think of cyclones and hurricanes in that way, it really makes sense why they're attracted to the troughs, right? So this is the fastest way for it to transport that energy up to the North Pole. It's going to catch a ride on this trough, and watch what happens here. It gets drawn up towards it, but it really unwinds. There's a lot of wind shear. There's not a real favorable environment for the storm to organize once it's back over the warm Gulf. So at this point, it doesn't look like it's going to turn back into a major hurricane or anything, or even ever reach major hurricane status on its approach to Florida. So that's what we're hoping for, but of course things can change, and that's why we are watching it so closely. Now, the other thing that we've got to talk about here, and honestly, in my opinion, the more concerning thing and the more consistent signal is the big trough. Okay, this is not going to just be a trough that affects the hurricane. This is going to have impacts on the ground here, especially in the plains. Likely, we're going to see a severe weather situation on Sunday and Monday as we have this trough coming in portions of Texas in the southwest. Storm Prediction Center is on board here with a day 4 slight risk for central portions of Texas on Sunday, and then even Monday, a little bit farther to the east, maybe close to Fort Worth, we've got a slight risk as well. This is kind of rare for middle of November for there to be a day 4 and 5 severe weather outlook. So lots of confidence that we are going to have severe weather problems as we go into the late part of this weekend into early next week. Let's get a more up close and personal look at this system on the European model, and you can see it coming together very well there on Sunday and Monday. The first round of severe weather will likely happen on Sunday evening as the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico kind of matches up with that trough. There's going to be a little bit of snow on the backside, of course, in the Rockies, maybe up there towards Albuquerque, but all of the action is really going to happen out here in front of that low pressure system in the warm sector where we expect to have severe weather in Texas. This is a classic setup. And then, of course, that continues into Monday, where maybe even the Dallas-Fort Worth metro is going to be in the zone for potential severe weather, as that's essentially in the warm sector on Monday. Lots of heavy rain and cooler weather on the backside up here in Kansas, but no big-time snow projected right now. If the cold air was a little bit faster here, we would have had a big snowstorm in the panhandle of Texas back up through Nebraska, but this just looks like a big rainmaker and then severe on the southeastern side here. As we go farther into the future, you can see that actually might move into the mid-Mississippi River Valley area and eventually the southeast as we go into Tuesday. That might actually have some continued severe weather threats that we will talk about probably later this week into early next week, and then more snow coming in behind that for the Rockies. So really not a lot to talk about with our tropical system. I think that's what everybody wants to talk about, but there's just not a lot there right now. And of course that could change. I'm mostly focused on this big system right here. This is going to be a pretty significant system for a lot of people as we go into early next week. And speaking of severe weather, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather today in the southeast over there near Wilmington, North Carolina, towards the Outer Banks. Very, very, very marginal risk. Not expecting much of anything at all. However, this is a great opportunity for me to plug our new thing that we're doing over on the Ryan Hall Y'all Extra channel. You can click on this 24/7 live stream. We've got live open chat here that you can chat in, and it's just constantly going to show you the latest alerts. If there's a tornado warning right now, a new tornado warning has been issued. That thing's going to play in real time within seconds of it being issued, and then the radar is going to zoom in on that tornado warning. You'll have all that information right here in front of you. Also, YallBot is a part of this, so it'll come through with local storm reports and emergency updates that come through in real time. It's almost like watching the Weather Channel back in the day, but for the whole United States, and there's no people involved. It's all automated. Maybe we'll change that in the future if you guys like this, but anytime there's ever a severe warning you can come here and check it out. Everything is going to be displayed here for you, even the satellite and NHC updates for the hurricane and the tropical system. So very cool. If you want to learn more about that, go over to the YouTube channel, Ryan Hall Y'all Extra, and subscribe and turn that on. I've got this just playing on all of our TVs. Like this is a good thing to just put up on a screen. You know what I'm saying? And just let it cook. All right, let's look even farther into the future. After our severe weather system here, what's going to come next? As we go into Thursday and Friday on the November 20th through the 23rd, we do expect a very large trough to move in, and this is going to be our next big weather system that we're talking about. This doesn't look like it's going to be very much of a severe weather maker. This is just going to be a lot of cold air. Our first real shot of winter coming down for a lot of people as we go into the latter portion of November. And it's not going to be like a major freeze or anything, but it is going to be a widespread explosion of cold air. Thursday, November 21st, for example, there's going to be a lot of places that are anywhere from 15 to 25 degrees below normal. It's going to feel cold. Like normal in November for St. Louis and Oklahoma City is not warm, right? So 25 degrees below that is cold, essentially. So we're really going to be feeling it here in the central and eastern portions of the country as we go into the latter half of November. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it lasts very long. There is, of course, a replenishing of unusually warm air coming in right after that. But I think once we're done with our tropical storm Sara and this next severe weather system, the main thing that we're going to be talking about is this and how severe it's going to be and what kind of implications this will have on our weather patterns moving forward. So just a little taste of what's to come. Climate Prediction Center is starting to hint at this with the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook being below average in portions of Texas and New Mexico. Still above average in the short term for the Northeast, but you guys are eventually going to cool off a little bit as well. And that's pretty much all the weather talk I have for you today. Remember, if you want to stay up to date, literally to the moment of what's going on with any aspect of the weather across the nation, go over to our new 24/7 live stream on the Ryan Hall Y'all Extra channel. Hopefully it'll be on forever. Of course, we're still kind of testing it, so it might have some problems here and there. And also, it's not going to change anything about my live streams. I'm still going to go live whenever stuff hits the fan, but no matter what, you'll be able to see our automated alerts and our radar and everything over on that channel. And it's just a cool thing to just kind of put on a screen. I love it. So yeah, go over there and subscribe to that. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Slap the like button and follow me on Twitter or X, Facebook, Instagram, and all that good stuff. And you're going to be one of the most weather aware people that exist because we post a lot of weather information everywhere. All right. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.